Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach,
the podcast where we focus on what actually matters
and let go of everything that doesn't.
We talk workouts, food, mindset, and health
without turning fitness into your full-time job.
Because you have a life outside of the gym.
And your body deserves better than extremes.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm Sarah.
Alan's already laughing.
And this is Nacho Fitness Coach. So Kaylee, what do you like to listen to when you work out?
I don't know. Sometimes a podcast and sometimes music.
Hey, wait. This is a podcast. What if you could have both?
At the same time?
Oh, yeah. Podbeat is a free mobile app that lets you add any beat style to any podcast for your workout. It's easy to do and free to download in the App Store. Kaylee, you sound pretty cool with the trap beat, but Sarah, the funk beat works for your voice.
So if you want to make our podcast work for a workout, check it out in the App Store.
They even have Podbeat for Android users in the Google Play Store. Okay, on to the show.
So Kaylee.
What?
I love your fidget.
I brought it back.
It's a good one. Did you make that or did you buy it? Do you guys have a 3D printer?
Oh, yeah, we have several.
But that one's not you didn't make it. You have several 3D printers?
Do you know my husband?
Well, that's true. Okay.
Yes, we have several.
I do think my kids would enjoy a 3D printer.
One in the bathroom. One in the bedroom. They're everywhere. We did not make this, though.
Okay.
I bought this.
Yeah. How much did you pay for that?
I don't know. It's a Five Below, so under $5.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, it's a good one.
That is a really good one.
This is all it does, though.
Now we have sound effects. It just kind of comes in.
This
and
is
out.
a good one. It stimulates the sensory need that I have, you know, for our audio only listeners, which is the only listeners we have because we don't have video. It's just like a crisscross pattern that kind of goes into a banana shape, and then you push it into itself, and it creates like an oval shape, right?
Yeah. It's a little banana.
It's like a good, 10 inches?
Oh, yeah, at least.
Bam.
Banana.
2 inches.
I think that's a...
Can you guys grow up? I can't with you two.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a
episode
large size banana for sure.
Is that a large banana?
I don't remember the categories for sure when we had the how many inches qualifies for each size of banana, but I definitely, I think that would be large.
How many inches you got?
I mean, probably 10, 9 to 10.
9 to 10.
Yeah,
Alan?
10. 10.
Alan?
Yeah, I'd give that one 9.5.
11 inches?
11.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you're a man, so add 2.
Reduces me to 9.
So 9.
Oh, that's 9.
So 9.
Oh,
Alan said 11.
Oh my
so
goodness.
9.
9. Okay.
All right. Anyway,
well,
the fidget's back.
That's like 2 episodes in a row then that I haven't hit a spurt where like
We're on a roll.
We're on a roll.
We're on a
You
roll
know
this
season.
this
We're just
season.
gonna. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna.
All right. You all right?
Yeah, I can do this.
Alan, you all right?
Oh my gosh, my eyes are all red, and I'm like,
Alan, you guys gotta pull it. You guys gotta pull it together.
We can do this. Wow. Okay.
All right.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So last week we kind of talked a little bit about our the 30 gram kind of like magical
Protein
number.
Yeah.
And that was a hard, fast guideline that was given to your friend about from a registered dietitian.
Yeah.
And so, I ran across this video, which is about MDs, I think.
medical
A
doctors.
medical doctor,
if you will.
or DO, which is a doctor of osteopathy, but
Hold on,
osteopathic medicine.
What does that even?
Doctor of osteopathic medicine. So an MD and a DO. So DO is a medical doctor that, I don't know the best way to describe it here. Maybe I should get the formal definition. I've always felt like they have a little bit of chiropractic or like a little bit more like natural,
so like some woo-woo.
a little natural like
I've just always
training in.
I've just always said like I need some DO for my BO.
Okay, so D You need some DO for your BO.
That's the only DO I know of.
So, because I have a friend that's a DO and she went to a school of medicine. So a doctor of medicine, traditional medical model, they have the same medical training and licensing plus extra education in like the whole person and systems-based approach. So they're trained in osteopathic manipulative treatment, which I always say chiropractic, which I don't think it is chiropractic. So somebody will probably get mad at me because I'm sure they're not the same, but in my head, that's where it always went to manipulation.
It sounds a little wooey
because medical doctors, they really don't touch you very much, right? Like you just talk about their symptoms and maybe they poke around a little bit, but anyways, they don't necessarily treat you physically like a physical therapist or a chiropractor or whatever, right? So they've got the same medical. They just look at you as a person and how they assess your medical needs a little differently.
They ask you questions.
Yeah, they ask you questions and do all things. Okay, so anyways, I ran across this video and I added it to the topics list because I thought it was a really important one. So I'm just going to maybe play the clip. So the clip is from 60 Minutes, a 60 Minutes interview. And so we're going to first listen to the clip. Okay. And then, there's become kind of this trend in social media where the person they stitch it in. So then there's a doctor that's sitting there that he's listening to the video, agreeing or disagreeing, and then they give you their spiel afterwards. Yeah. So here we go. Let's see if we can get this thing to play right away.
Fellow physician calls some of what you're talking about hocus pocus.
People are entitled to think what they want, and just because someone is a physician doesn't mean they're even remotely equipped to evaluate the merits of exercise physiology. Remember, I went to Stanford Medical School, right? How many hours of education do you think I received on exercise?
Probably a few hours.
0 hours. And how many hours did I receive on nutrition? 0 hours. It was 25 years ago, so maybe things have changed, but I'm pretty sure that if you're talking to other esteemed physicians, they're in the same bucket as me. So, they might not be the ones that are best equipped to be my critics.
Yeah, I mean, this is spot on. Just because somebody has MD or DO after their name doesn't automatically qualify them to give you accurate advice on exercise, nutrition, or longevity. These are separate fields with separate bodies of evidence that, unfortunately, we learned nothing about in medical school. We spent ample time diving deep into niche cancer drugs like bleomycin that 97% of us would never prescribe. Meanwhile, we get essentially zero formal education on the biggest determinants of health.
Huh. So I thought that was really super interesting because
diet, exercise, sleep.
It just paused. He's not done. Diet, exercise, and sleep management.
I can tell you the mechanism of action for a dozen chemotherapy agents that I'll never use, but nutrition, exercise physiology, strength training regimens, longevity interventions, those aren't in the syllabus, and so they're definitely not on the test. So when colleagues dismiss some of these topics that we harp on in preventative or functional medicine as being hocus pocus, I understand why. We literally weren't trained in it. Medical school trains us to treat disease, not prevent it. We're experts in pathology and pharmacology, but optimizing health, extending health span, treating micronutrient insufficiencies, that's a completely different skill set that most of us never developed because it was never taught. The wild part is that the evidence for lifestyle interventions is often considerably stronger than the evidence for many of the drugs that we prescribe. But because it wasn't in our textbooks, it gets dismissed as being alternative or unproven. Many of us have to actually learn all of this after our formal training, on our own time, through courses, through reading research, and through personal trial and error. So I can understand why most physicians who graduate with $250,000 to $500,000 of debt and years behind them aren't motivated to go and do that. It's not a criticism, it's just a reality. So when you're getting health advice, just ask yourself, did this person actually study what they're talking about, or are they just defaulting to what they learned in school 20 years ago?
So I thought that was kind of a really great stitch, because there was the interview on 60 Minutes. He was kind of talking about, and it's absolutely true, It
is.
And some of it also too is not just a medical school problem. Some of it is also due to the fact that my corporate career was in healthcare IT. And our payment system right now from insurance providers, you're paying if you're sick, right? They're not proactively paying for you to stay healthy. Now, some of that's slowly changing over time, that they're changing the payment structures and they're trying to be proactive and rewarding kind of the health and the proactive benefits of, diet and exercise and making sure
Do you think it's going to go more that way?
And you know what? For the last 10 years, ever since I quit my career to stay home and raise the kids, it was already being talked about back then, but that's how much time things take.
Yeah, slow.
The engine has been going. It's the insurances were created. It's big business now. And, you know, it is, and the doctors only get paid if they see you. Well, you're only going to go to the doctor if you're sick. Well, the insurance is only going to pay you if you have a diagnosis that you are sick. So it's all like illness based, right? And there's no incentive then for the physicians or for medical school then to train people on how to keep their people healthy because that's not the payment model. So it's not really a fault of any specific
I have two very mundane anecdotes
Okay.
for this.
Let's see it.
The first was before I started all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we always talk about what made you decide to get into fitness, and I don't know if we've ever gone into it, but I ended up in the emergency room for the first time in my life ever. I've never been in an ER, and I was like, I am 100% sure I am having a heart attack. This was like 2020, early 2022.
Yeah.
I'm like, chest pains, short of breath, everything. And I went to the ER. And when you go in and you say those things,
Yeah. They're putting you through the full thing.
all hands on deck, you know, hooking you up to all the things. And then they're like, no, actually, you're fine.
Right.
So then they're like, what else could it be? Immediately, here's an anti-anxiety medication, which do I maybe need? Did I maybe need?
Or you just can
Maybe.
learn how to control your anxiety. Yeah.
But like maybe I've said this before, but I also was not sleeping well. I also was not drinking water. I also was not moving my body. I was also not eating well.
12 pack of Twisted Teas on the weekend.
Every night.
Every night. Those things add up.
And so it was
Oddly
just
enough.
this like light bulb moment of like, because I know and I'm not anti-medication.
Right.
And I think there's a place for it. But I think that I was like, I have to ask myself, am I trying everything
Else first.
Yeah. I have way too much caffeine. I even
Not enough sleep.
The content that I
No
consume
water.
is very anxiety inducing. You know what I mean?
The
It's
true
just
crime podcast.
all the things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what can I change that does not require popping a pill in my mouth?
Everything.
Everything.
Fine.
Pretty much.
Turns out
Pretty much
everything.
everything.
And then how'd that work out for you? Have you had an anxiety attack since?
I mean, do I still have anxiety? You tell me.
I mean, you do a pretty good job hiding it or like managing it. Like
I'm fine.
I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine.
Yes. Do I still have anxiety? Yes, I do. But am I
Putting you in the ER.
Is it putting me in the ER? No. I have better coping skills now. I'm sleeping better. I'm eating better. I'm drinking water. I'm not drinking a 12 pack of Twisted Tea every night. You know, does it help? Yeah. Second anecdote is my 11-year-old daughter. This past year, she started out of nowhere, maybe, I don't know. She started pulling out her eyelashes and her eyebrows, which is called trichotillomania. It's akin to like biting your fingernails, but it's on your face.
Yep.
So it feels like a bigger deal.
Right.
And so we've been dealing with that, and I haven't figured out how to fix it for her. So with putting them in school recently, we had to go do a physical. She wears non-prescription glasses because my initial thought was it would help
to block
just
it.
be a physical barrier, but I think even more than that, it's become like it hides it.
Sure.
And so she wants to wear them, and that's perfectly fine with me. I have no problem with that. So then when we went in for our physical, the doctor was like, what's with the glasses? That's what I told her. And what'd she say?
She need anti-anxiety meds.
Anti-anxiety meds.
It's like, no, it's okay to have feelings of anxiousness. Just learn to manage the triggers. And
that was like the very first thing. And it's like, no, you know, like nothing against the doctor. That's what they do.
Right.
But I'm like, you know, we've tried, obviously it's been a year. We've tried several things.
Yeah.
None of those things have seemed to work. So
now, won't that be interesting if that changes with now this like
that's
new
what I said.
social
I'm like,
environment
you know what?
that she's in?
She's going to school. She's going to be around peers. She's going to be around other
time is going to be
other
used
adults.
differently.
Yeah. So I'm like, let's try that first.
Right.
Let's not put an 11-year-old baby on anti-anxiety meds.
100%.
Because the thing I have against those meds is just that, like, yes, it takes away your anxiety. It also takes away all your feelings.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And I might be wrong about that. I'm not trying to make a sweeping
Well, I definitely do think that they have some different personality. Like you hear that from people that have like, you know, like bipolar or depression or different other things that they make them feel different.
Yeah.
And I would put that in that same category. I'm guessing. I mean, I don't really know.
I grew up on Ritalin for my ADHD, Ritalin and Adderall. And so I can very much attest to, yes, they put me on this thing to help fix a problem, but it caused other problems.
Right. And yet it would have been helpful just to learn some skills of how to like manage.
And that was the 90s and nobody knew. Nobody knew.
Right.
And so I'm not like, you know, nobody did anything wrong, but I'm just like, I do think twice. Like when you tell me to put my 11-year-old, you know.
Well, and I also feel like too, like, I mean, their minds are developed. I mean, that's a very critical age for like self like worth and all those mental things that they're telling themselves. And you also want to be like, I mean, you may have different things that you get more anxious about than others.
Yes.
But do you really want to then like classify yourself as somebody that has anxiety and how crippling that could be for you to be mentally telling yourself that for the rest of your life? You're going to avoid situations. You're not going to do things because
when I was a child and I got put on back then it was ADD. I didn't have the H. I wasn't hyperactive.
Yeah. But where did the ADD go anyways, by the way? Because everything's ADHD now. It just went away. Okay.
ADD
it's not cool
but
anymore.
I had ADD because girls generally aren't hyperactive.
Sure. Right. Okay.
So I had ADD, attention deficit disorder.
Right.
Which and all I ever heard as a child was,
oh, she has ADD.
It's a learning disability. So I have a disability of learning.
You're dumb.
You know what? Yeah, that's what you hear.
It's
hear.
like, oh, I'm dumb. Yeah. It's okay. I don't have to have good grades because I'm dumb.
So this is, and that's how I operated.
It's a miracle you graduated high school.
I shouldn't have, probably.
Did you actually?
It was public school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's,
everybody graduated.
We all know where you went, so it doesn't really count.
Everybody graduated. No, it is. It's a sore spot for me. And so, yes, to connect it to your video, it's just, I think when you go see a medical doctor who has been trained to prescribe you pharmaceuticals, because that is what they are trained to do.
Yep.
That is what you are going to get.
Right. Absolutely. Right. And it's no fault to them.
No.
Or the system.
No.
It's and I'm not situational.
I'm not saying like I don't go see doctors.
Right.
You know, but it's just like ask a fucking question.
Just use your own head.
Right.
Try to apply some common sense. Well, you kind of mentioned, you know, for your school that everyone graduated. I mean, that's also the thing you have to think about. Somebody has an MD, somebody finished last of their class as a medical doctor.
It might be your doctor.
It might be your doctor. Like, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like everyone that graduates from medical school, there's ones that ranked first in their class and there's somebody that just squeaked by and ranked last in their class. Like, yeah, they all still graduate. Yes. But you know what? Your personality kind of goes into it too. Like, do you end up going into your profession and then keep up with your continuing education? Do you expand your horizons or do you just keep kind of going through everyday life and not being willing to you know what I mean? Like things like that. So, I know when I got pregnant with my first child, like my OBGYN, she was my favorite and she recently retired. So she was probably like when I first got pregnant, I mean, she's probably 20 years older than me, maybe now. So she was probably in her mid 50s. So I'm having my baby the first time, 33. My OBGYN's been practicing medicine for a really long time. And like he said, they study a lot on drugs and effects and this and that.
Right.
I have my energy drink, my Zip Fizz that I have. That is a lot of vitamins and minerals and tiny bit of caffeine. But like, you know, just through some general like research, I'm like, okay, the caffeine's not going to put me over my threshold that most doctors will say for like, you know, pregnancies being fine. But I was like, but the vitamin B12 is like 7,223% of what you need. And I was like, so of course, just wanted to double check like, hey, you know, but it's always like, is she going to be up on her vitamins? Right. And those are like specific vitamins too, to know like, okay, some vitamins, your body absorbs them all.
Right.
Some of them, they'll only absorb what they need. And then like you get rid of the rest. And so you kind of have to know which one's which. Okay. So with that, we're going to take just a quick little ad break. If you have something to share with us or even suggest a new topic idea, email us at nachofitnesscoach@gmail.com. Find our Nacho Fitness Coach page on Facebook with username Nacho Fit Coach, where you can like, follow, and share our content.
Okay, we're back.
Oh my gosh, she actually had the answers to like all of them and was like, this is fine. And I was like, awesome. Like I was not expecting for you to be able to rattle off all of these different vitamins and know that because a lot of MDs,
but she did,
just would be like, no, can't take it. Like how many friends I've had that got pregnant that their OBGYNs were like, you can't have anything. You can't do anything. You got to scrap all of this. Like you can't eat this. And it's just like, that was crazy to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's good. So you definitely have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Your doctor could literally have been the one that just squeaked by. And how much have they continued to learn, right?
Well, but then it's like, then that brings up the question is like for different things, who do you go to? Because I also know you have beef with dietitians, nutritionists, who
that give the hard, fast
just chat GPT.
You know, that's what you do, apparently, Miss. I have pancreatitis or whatever. My pancreas is like broken.
It's fine. We're working through it.
That is actually, I mean, the hardest part, right? Because you have to trust somebody.
If you have a specific concern about nutrition,
yeah,
who do you go to?
So for me personally, I went to somebody who looked the way that I wanted to look because I felt like they not only knew what they were doing, but they were able to implement it and like lived the lifestyle, which there are two camps of people out there in the world like that too. Like you will have the camps of people, and I think we've talked about it before, like you can be an all-knowing personal trainer, but you don't have to be the fittest person on the block.
Right.
You can be an all-knowing dietitian, but you don't have to like look like you're healthy. And I'm like, I kind of disagree because knowing what you're supposed to do is such a small part of the puzzle. Implementing it is the hard part.
You wouldn't go get your eyebrows waxed by somebody
who has terrible eyebrows or like has no eyebrows. You know what I mean? Like when I went and got my microblading or whatever it is, my powdering down on my eyebrows, like I scoured for the people who had great eyebrows and like had the good pictures. You know what I mean? Like same thing with hair color. I'm like, they do blonde the way that I want the blonde or whatever it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that can be tough kind of weeding through. And then I also had a personal referral. So an old college roommate of mine, like she had already went through this program, experienced it, like, and gave me the lowdown scoop of like what it was or like what it all entailed. And to me, it just made sense. So you talk about like implementing your own common sense. I was like, okay, I mean, that seems, you know, it's all whole foods. They're not just trying to sell me shakes or put me on these bars.
Because I feel like the average person is not going to ask the questions that.
But why are we so scared to ask the questions, do you think?
It's not that you're scared to ask the questions. It's that you don't know what questions to ask. Maybe. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if you have a question about nutrition, the average person thinks, I'll ask my doctor.
Yeah. And you shouldn't.
You know?
I mean, now don't get me wrong. There are some MDs out there, like the guy said, that stitched in. Like there are some medical doctors have taken the time to go the extra step and learn about nutrition. I was never one that if I had a weight management issue, I would think go to my MD. And maybe that because part of it's because an experience I had when I worked in the healthcare IT world.
Yeah.
I went to a hospital. I was observing the physician in his office, how he was using his electronic medical record, right? Yeah. Because they wanted to be more efficient. So it's like, where are they moving too much? Was there shortcuts, things like that? So I was observing their behavior on the computer. And one of the office visits I sat in and got to observe was a lady who's like, it was weight management. It was a weight management office visit. And his advice told her, go to Sam's Club and get these protein shakes. That was it. Now, that's a start, but that's not the whole picture, you know? And so it's just like, you know, there was that trust there. And
so many people want medical professionals to fix all of their problems.
Well,
I'm seeing it.
They're used to getting the pills just prescribed,
in
right?
my home right now, taking care of a family member who's, you know, in a fairly dire situation.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
but lifestyle support has not been there.
It's
leading up until this point, right? I mean,
on his end.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, there has been a neglect of his lifestyle. And now he wants just medical professionals to fix it. And I'm like, we're just seeing in real time how like that's not not what happens.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting.
And it's hard. There's no doubt about that. Like, because it's your behavior is what has to change. you have to go through that process.
I mean, it should have changed 20 years ago. But
right. Well, you know what? The best time to start it, know. It's like the whole plant a tree analogy. The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, but the next best day to plant a tree is today or whatever
when you're, 60, 70 years old and you have lived the life that you've lived and you have the habits that you have, like it is a lot harder.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
But it's hard because then all of a sudden you're like, they're like, here's 30 medications you need to take, it's just like.
Well, I recently had a conversation with somebody who I could tell like noticeably has lost a lot of weight over the last like 6 months. And, I know it's always like that touchy thing. Like, do you say something to them because you're noticing or not?
Well, now
or whatever?
You just assume it's GLP-1.
Yeah, that's true. Right? Actually, you do just assume it's a GLP-1 now.
Which
so
is good for you.
But I kind of default a little bit to be like, hey, this has just been my career. So I'm just going to come out and say it and like ask or whatever. Cause I'm like, I've had a lot of experience for a few years, like focusing on like transformations, right? I'm like, I've seen what can happen in short periods of time when you just check all the right boxes, right? And so I knew he had a sweet tea habit. Like every time I would see him, he'd be like chugging a bottle of sweet tea. And years ago, I was like, are you going to swap those out for water? It's like, or at least like even out your ratios, like never, I'm never quitting my sweet. I was like, okay, but it's like water would be good for you. It just kind of like smells like, or like, what about we start strength training, just kind of bringing up the few things. And so anyways, he was recently telling him, I said, so did you finally quit the iced tea kick? And he said, yes. Oh. I haven't had it since July. And I'm also drinking a gallon of water a day. And he showed me this little container of 4 ounces of shredded chicken breast. And he said, I'm eating chicken breast and I've got 4 ounces of meat that I bring in and I pair it with vegetables and fruit. And over there in the refrigerator, I have cottage cheese, string cheese. And I was like,
do I know this person? You drop a first and last after the episode?
Yeah, I'll fill you in afterwards. And I was like, hey, that's awesome. He's like, oh, and I've been walking 3 to 5 miles a day. Like my son, who I told him not to get the dog, whatever. It's at our house now. So I'm walking this dog. So it's like, oh, look at that. We've changed our nutrition. We started drinking water instead of empty calories. We're just generally just moving our body. And it was like, I mean, it's crazy what just those simple things will do. But now there's a situation where it's like a plateau is kind of happening. And so it's like, okay, what's next? And, the conversation kind of went down a different way. But of course, I'm like mulling over things in my head at home. I brought up, okay, well, let's, what about strength training? Like throwing that in there because it's like that's the next.
I want to know how
great.
I want to know how he's sleeping.
Of course, there's a few more in there for sure. I mean, stress is high, I'm sure, but it's like okay, you've got strength training that can be added at this point. Like if you look at like all the boxes,
you're like coaching him in your head.
In my head, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find ways to like work this in, just kind of win it. But then the next one, all too, is we used to say this all the time in the transformation gym that I worked at in Kansas City, like. Sometimes you have to eat more to lose more. And that's counterintuitive for people because you just start going down the path of like, I just need to keep cutting. Well, there's one food group that he didn't even mention, or not a food group, a macronutrient that he didn't mention at all. Yeah. What's missing? And then I think he said even like throws in carbs to, a little bit at the end or whatever, but there's
those fats.
And all of a sudden it was like, there's not really any fats in the diet right now. And so it's like, sometimes, and fats are what support your hormones. Sometimes when you hit a plateau.
So you just started coaching it on paper?
No, in my head. And I'm like, keep tucking these away because sometimes people only need to hear it at certain points in time, right? Like if I'm not getting asked a question, I'm not the type of person.
That's why I ask you all the questions.
You have to ask me because otherwise I'm just going to be like, okay, that's
been the best coach I've ever had.
Like you
for sure.
Such a liar.
I've only had one, so.
And so it's like, okay, sometimes then you get to a plateau and you think you got to start doing more of what you're doing, but sometimes you need to like do something different. And so if it was my direction that I'd say is like, okay, it's time for strength training and it's time to start actually eating more fats, like increasing your calories a little bit because sometimes your body actually needs more to lose more.
That you just have this man on an imaginary,
which is weird
program in your mind.
But I will say his medical provider, his doctor, is actually the one that gave him some pretty decent framework. So there are some out there that will give you good advice, but there are some that just
be careful.
Common sense.
I have a question. Alan didn't start the timer, so I don't know where we're at.
We don't know how much time we've been rambling. I think we're probably pretty close. It seems like we are Probably getting about there. I have still one more thing to throw at you, but
we don't pay him very much anyway, so
I'll let him stay.
Thanks.
Throw it at me. Throw it at me, and then I got a question for you.
You talked about your attack when you went to the emergency room, and this is something that I feel like if it's not common knowledge, it needs to be common knowledge. And that is this. If you're having chest pains or tightness, go to the emergency room.
Oh, yeah.
Do not try to just schedule a doctor's office and wait 2 weeks to get into your medical provider and then like try to go through this whole process of like insurance is either approving or denying or
because I mean the worst case scenario, they say no, you had.
But they took you through all the tests.
They took it very seriously,
and they have to by law.
And you should.
If a patient presents with chest pain, you have to go to the emergency room.
Don't assume it's anxiety.
And they are going to run through you the gamut. Do not worry about going through the process of getting like approved by insurance. Any of that garbage.
No.
Go to the emergency department.
Yes.
Tightness, even some like flu-like symptoms can be like heart related, and so like
see, because I was just having so much like I was having like health anxiety.
Yeah.
So it all goes together when you look at like what was going on in my life then. But no, I did the thing I was supposed to do, and luckily it was
nothing. But you'd rather be on that end of it than sitting and waiting for all these tests and approvals and things like that, and then like something happens. So anyways, if that's not common knowledge in your world, it absolutely should be common knowledge now. Like if you have parents or somebody that's being stubborn about going,
good call,
then go to your emergency department.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You were talking about something earlier, drinking water. Because we grew up in the 90s.
Yeah.
We didn't drink water.
Never.
Nary a drop of water ever touched these lips.
It was 2003 before I remember. So I was 20.
Was it?
22 years old.
What made you realize, like, I need to drink water?
I went to the bookstore at Northwest Missouri State University, and there was these really cool things called Nalgene bottles that had like Northwest Missouri State on the side. And it was on the top shelf of the bookstore, and I walked through
Nalgene since 2003.
Yes,
it's so funny because for me it was 20 years later in 2023 where I decided maybe I needed to start drinking water. That's so cute.
Oh,
I love that.
Isn't that funny?
We're like the
though?
same person. 20
Oh
years
my
apart.
gosh, years apart. So yeah, because I remember like I'm in a whole track career.
The water bottles made you start drinking water?
And I just remember then like being life-changing, that like last season of track where I always had a water bottle with me and I was like never thirsty. And I was like,
nobody was talking about it then.
I still have this Nalgene bottle, by the way. It is at my house.
God.
And so that's when I started at least having it with me. Here's where it kind of...
Did you know it was important?
No. I just started having it with me more, so I naturally started drinking more.
When did you know it was... like vital?
Probably when I did my first transformation, which was like 2010, right?
God,
Does that sound about
so
right?
Drunk that year. So drunk.
Do you remember 2010?
I was married,
right? We weren't married yet. It was we were training for the first. Oh no, wait, hold on. We got married in 2011. It was 2011. The end of 2011 is when I did my first transformation, or like started it. So that's when the water kick started.
Yeah. Okay. That's
good. Yeah.
Useful to know.
So I've had
one more last
15
thing.
years of pushing water down people's throats.
Speaking of like how old we are.
Yeah.
When we went to that banquet a while back and we were introduced to a newcomer.
Yeah.
To town who I found out
went to your high school?
Who grew up in my hometown and went to the same schools that I went to. So obviously, like what you do at that point, once those dots are connected, you say what year?
What year did you graduate?
Because now we're gonna start talking about people that we might know.
No, for sure. Is there any connection? Is there any reason for this conversation to continue?
And so I was like, and I graduated in 2004, 22 years ago, and he's like, a class of 22.
No, 23. I'm like, oh, he's at 23.
Like, you're a baby.
So he graduated in 2023.
You could literally be my child.
100%. Absolutely. He can be.
I was dying.
I don't even know what the look was on my face, but I was like, I also kind of couldn't believe you asked that question because you could tell. He had such a baby face and he looked so young. And I was just like, oh, she did not just think that they happened to be there at the same time.
He was a baby. What was his name? Bryce? I don't know. Shout out Bryce.
I don't know. 2023. I just,
yesterday.
Are you even 21? Like, could you even get the drink tickets here? Did they check your ID at the door?
So
I don't know
funny.
if you should be here right now.
It's just like, I don't feel like I'm that old. And then every once in a while, you just get that
You're that old
smack in the face, you know? That's like, yeah, you're old.
Oh, I have a good one. And my sister's probably going to kill me for telling this story because I think sometimes she does listen. I don't, maybe she'll miss this one, but very recently she was like, oh, I went to this business in town because my husband bought me a gift certificate and just kind of was small talking. And, it was just kind of, I mentioned that we're sisters and I was like, ooh. Like, I'm not really sure that person likes me very well. So how did that go? And she goes, fine. And then she asked me, well, how much older are you than Sarah?
Oh no. She's 7 years younger.
She's 7 years younger than me. And I was like, I think I like her a lot now.
Poor Sally.
Oh, I was like, I'm going to chalk that one up as like,
both had
I'm doing
4
something
kids?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll see like memes pop up that it's just like, when you hit your 40s, this weird thing happens. Like your classmates either look like they're 50 or 30. It's like, which one are you falling in? Like, are you the one that's looking 10 years older because life's been a little bit rough?
Yeah.
Or are you the one that's looking younger?
You do know I'm almost 40, right? Finally.
Yeah. Finally. I mean, you've been saying you're there like for the last 3 years.
I identify as a 40-year-old. I have for quite some time.
I don't know why you're in such a hurry to get in your 40s, but
I'm ready.
it's actually fun.
3 months, I'm turning 40.
I really don't know that I feel like a day over 25.
You don't look it either.
I know.
You're glowing.
It's the fake hair, the fake nails.
It's
like, because I got my nails on now too. You haven't even said anything.
I saw them last night. I admired them.
Do you see the cute little like
detail? My validation. I saw the hearts. I love them. I went and got my nails done Tuesday.
They're so pretty.
It was very painful. I had to
Did they come off?
No, she filed.
Ooh, ouch.
I got mean.
It's like, easy there, lady.
She was like trying to get down to the bone.
Why?
They're too short. It's fine. I'm fine. I tipped her still $10.
That was nice of you. So it was like, I was kind of went through this spurt where I was like, maybe I should stop looking homeless.
You were looking a little.
And just stop being quite so scruffy and like put a little effort into things.
That's
and so I was like, 40s, you know what? My
40s is going to be the best decade of my life.
It's fun.
Mark my word.
It's fun. But I was like, it was time to get the hair done again. And
you look great.
Nails done. And
you look good. I need a little Botox
in my lips. Do I? I don't know.
Do you? I don't know. That's up to you.
Those are fillers. If it's below your eyes, I don't know. Those are.
Do I look like I've had?
Those are lip plumpers.
Nary a needle has touched this face.
Lip plumpers, maybe. I don't think I could start doing the lips. That's a very slippery slope. I feel like for people.
I know people who have gone a little above and beyond.
With the duck lips.
Yeah. Well, let's try it. Maybe next season.
Absolutely not. I'm gonna say a hard no to the duck lips. I will say no to them. So.
I try it for the content.
For the content.
I think I do need a little up here. A little bit of.
It's game changer. For sure.
Anyway, I think we're like an hour in.
I think so too. Well, we probably should just call it quits. So that was it. That was it for today. So people, use some common sense.
Be smart.
Be smart. Get referrals. See if things kind of check out. Don't be so quick to pop the pills. Take some ownership.
To this podcast for medical advice.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
Just kidding.
No. Stick around. Until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to head over to our Instagram at Nacho Fitness Coach and let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening. And if you like our podcast, leave us a rating. See you next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.